guys, and welcome back to another reaction and thoughts. Today we have pretty interesting news. It is Prey director Dan Trachtenberg talking about his Predator with gadgets, and I think also kind of new elements to the species of the Predator, or Yautja, or however you wish to call them. Again, I'm pretty excited about this movie. I think so far we've gotten pretty positive stuff from this, in my opinion, of course. But yeah, I won't ramble on too much. What I'll do is I'll remove my face cam. If you guys do enjoy this, make sure you like and sub. I'll remove myself now and we'll get right into the article. So it goes as follows. 20th Century and Hulu have released the trailer for Prey, the next chapter in the Predator franchise, featuring our first look at the new Predator and the characters he will be hunting in the film, which is set 300 years in the past. Ahead of the trailer's debut, comicbook.com also got the opportunity to speak with director Dan Trachtenberg and the producer Jahane Myers, who revealed new details on the film's development and the gadgets that the Predator is using in the movie, and how Disney didn't actually demand anything, despite some fans might assume. And that's kind of what I was saying in my last, actually the trailer reaction that I did. I said it looks like Disney have no part in this, and I think the only thing Disney kind of dictated or bossed around was to release this only on Hulu and not in theaters. I think that's the only thing Disney did with this. But it looks like Disney has nothing to do with this overall. But again, that's interesting that they've said that. As Trachtenberg told us, it is a brutal, intense, very R-rated movie. And obviously that's good too, because I think out of all these big franchises through the 80s, I think Predator is one of the only ones that have stayed R-rated, because I think all of them have been R-rated, if I'm not correct. Even Shane Black's mess of a movie was R-rated. That was, from what I've heard, was pretty gory. Again, I didn't watch it because I saw and read the leaks and I couldn't be bothered watching that shit. But Predator is probably one of the franchises that has stayed R-rated from its true roots, so that's nice to see from this. I teased a while ago that I took inspiration from the latest God of War video game, and those two things are in the trailer, Trachtenberg revealed. One is his shield that you see briefly, and the other is not a Predator gadget, but is the way that Nadu wields her axe. She invents something very cool for that tomahawk. Yes, it is. That is very God of War like, yeah. I'll throw a video of that as well, because that's pretty cool. And I like that idea with the tomahawk as well. How she kind of had like a slingshot type boomerang with the tomahawk. That's nice. And that comes from a mechanic in that video game. I think the shield is something super cool. There's a couple things that are the same, but even those things function slightly differently. And that's nice too, because again, this is 300 years in the past, so I'm fine for... Oh, look, it's Predator, man. Just look at the first two movies and see how drastically the weaponry changed from the second movie. You know, you had the... Kind of a standout weapon, in my opinion, was that net gun that the City Hunter used, I think, with the Jamaican gangs, I'm pretty sure. And the net kind of like melted as it went tighter onto the skin, and that was really cool. And obviously the smart disc. So there was a lot of cool stuff that the second movie brought to the Predator lore, and again, I love to see more stuff as well. He continued offering a tease for the Predator as a whole, saying, I think our Predator, in my mind, not only does he exist, 300 years before, but I think in a sci-fi movie terms, time moves very slowly. if the way that Star Wars functions, or even Star Trek, you know, it's 300 years, ships aren't suddenly like so different. But I think this guy's perhaps from a different hemisphere of the planet and a little bit of a different breed. Okay, that's pretty interesting. So even his look is a little new. It's familiar but new. I'm excited for the people, even for diehard fans, to see something they hadn't seen before. That's really nice. I actually like that idea. It's different, but again, it's something that us fans are familiar with. The games and comics had different designs of the Predators, so I'm fine with this being unique and different. Trachtenberg did just mention there that he's identifying the Predator as he, so that gets rid of the idea or the theory of it being female, because a lot of people, me too, I was kind of questioning because the Predator had longer hair. Was it female? But obviously now Trachtenberg's calling it a he and describing it as he. His look is new, so obviously it's confirmed now that it's a male. Trachtenberg confirmed that Dane DeAllegro is the man behind the mask for the film's Killer Alien, revealing that he got the role in a surprising way. We met him at the initial costume test, the director said, and he was who they found as a reference for that day. And then he came over and he was like, I would do anything to be in this movie. And it turned out he was like one of the only people capable of pulling this off. That's really nice. I like that. I like that they gave him a chance in doing it. I'm actually very interested to see this Predator's mannerisms because, you know, Kevin Peter Hall was so unique. You know, rest in peace to him. He was so unique the way he maneuvered in the first two Predator movies. For a very tall guy like Kevin Peter Hall, he was very agile and move. He was very mobile for someone that height. And I like to see if this guy has that mannerism and characteristic. Because again, you don't have to show facial expressions to convey emotion. You know, the Predators have done that pretty well. And again, I'm excited to see what they do with this. Trachtenberg and Myers also confirmed that originally the film was going to be Comanche entirely. Really? Okay. I would have been happy if we got that, to be honest. And though it isn't, the film will make movie history at the launch, be available in the Comanche language in both subtitles and dubbed audio tracks. Okay. I would really like to watch this dubbed with English subs, or even I honestly would have preferred if they mixed both languages into the one. So you have the Comanche language talked between the tribes people, and then maybe switch it out with English here and there. But that's nice that they've given us different options now. Prey will debut on Hulu on August 5th. And again, I'm really excited for this movie. So far what they've shown is nothing but positive in my opinion. And this is something else I found as well right now. This is about, you know, the Prey director confirms key Predator weapon won't appear in the film. And I assume that's the plasma caster not being in the movie or being altered. And obviously if you saw the trailer, the weapon that the Predator uses when obviously he shoots some projectile, but it was red instead of the traditional blue white kind of electricity. So I already knew automatically, oh, that's not the plasma caster, or that's like an inferior old version of it. But Trachtenberg's straight out saying that it probably won't appear in the film, as what this title's saying. So we'll quickly get into this. It's not that big of a article compared to the other one, but we'll get right into it. And this goes as follows. the upcoming Predator movie Prey would venture into new territory for the franchise in a number of ways, one of which being the film won't see the otherworldly characters supporting their devastating plasma caster to take down its enemies. Okay, so it is the plasma caster. Given that the new film will see the character facing off against members of the Comanche Nation, director Dan Trachtenberg thought the inclusion of the typically shoulder-mounted weapon would give the threat too much of an advantage. It makes sense. It's going to be way too overpowering. Even in the first movie, like, the Predator done stuff all. Like, he was in the trees just shooting Dutch's team. And it wasn't until Dutch was the last man standing, that's when the Predator decided to face off with him. So it does make sense not to include it, because again, it's just too OP. He did promise, however, that the threat will still have a number of other technological advantages, both fresh and familiar. Prey debuts on Hulu on August 5th. So there's going to be more weapons going by what this sentence just said by Trachtenberg himself. Again, I love to see new stuff from the Predator. You know, Predator 2 is a great example. There was so much new included weapons in that, and yeah, I like to see new stuff. The primary thing that I wanted to remove was the plasma caster, Trachtenberg confirmed with Empire, just because it felt like such an instant win button. And yeah, I agree, it pretty much is. I wanted to make sure that the fight could be as exciting as possible without stripping of its advantages. He doesn't have the tools that he has in the newer movies, but he does have awesome new gadgets for people to see. While surely this will change the nature of the combat, the Predator has a number of other tools of its disposal that will surely terrify the film's heroes. And again, I'm completely fine with that. If we're going to see new stuff, I'm not going to complain. But obviously the plasma caster is a pretty big inclusion of Predator lore when it comes to comics. But I do have a kind of explanation of maybe why it doesn't have it yet. So that's pretty much both of the small articles here and there that we got. Again, this just makes me more intrigued in it, because it seems like Trachtenberg and the rest of the crew are really putting their heart into this movie. It seems like they really know what they want, and they seem also what Predator fans want in a movie as well. So honestly, there's nothing to really complain about this. The only thing is how it executes in the movie, and the actual plot of the movie that I can really complain about. But again, we haven't got that yet. So everything that we've seen on paper sounds great. It's just, again, if it's executed well in the movie. And also, obviously, the article itself said the Predator would be a bit different, a different hemisphere of the Yalcha planet, which again, that's really interesting. We haven't really gotten that at all, I don't think. You can say maybe the Lost Tribe from the second movie might have been from a different hemisphere of the planet, because they kind of traveled alone. They were kind of like lone wolves. Also, the ones in Predators, where they were splicing, I think, other DNAs. Again, they didn't really explain it in that movie. But they were basically bad blood predators, or I think they called them super predators or something. It's bad blood predators, whatever. But again, I'm interested to see what they do with this. Because visually, it's like what the article said. It looks familiar, but there's differences in the Predator. And that's the first thing I noticed when I saw it, was the longer hair. And also, the plasma caster looked different. It was shooting different projectiles. And yeah, I'm just excited to see what they're going to do with this. And speaking on the lack of the plasma caster and just taking it straight out of this Predator, I thought of a couple of reasons. It could be a first blood Predator, or new blood as they call it. where basically they need to successfully kill their first hunt or hunts, and then they're awarded with the plasma caster. So maybe that's what this predator is. It's still a young blood or new blood and hasn't killed to win that plasma caster yet. And then also I thought it's 300 years in the past. Maybe simply it's just hasn't been created and been given to predators yet. Maybe they don't have that technology yet, which kind of makes sense. But at the same time, he was shooting something in the trailer. There was some projectile going to the people in the trailer. So they obviously have that technology already. So maybe it's not what we're used to when it comes to the, the first Predator movie. And then I also thought maybe instead of it being a young blood or a new blood, it could be the opposite. Maybe this is an elder predator like we saw with Predator 2. Maybe this one just doesn't give a shit and just doesn't decide to have a plasma caster at all, because the elder predator in the second Predator movie didn't have the biomask. They refused to wear it, and also he had something unique with his plasma caster too, if I remember. The tracker, actually. The biomasks usually have a tracker on the eye to aim the plasma caster. The elder predator kind of modified it so the tracker was on the caster itself, and maybe that's what this one has done, and it's just totally abandoned it. Maybe it's an elder, or like Wolf was, a more advanced predator where maybe this one feels like it doesn't need to have it, just to challenge itself a bit more. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like overall, this sounds promising. Hopefully, again, it's executed well. I think the only major complaint I've seen with people is the fact that it's a Kamashi girl fighting the Predator. But again, the Predator's drawn through conflict, and I don't have a problem with that. Although the one thing I would have a problem is if the human character is able to kill the Predator just like that with strength, because none of the movies have really shown that at all. Like we take Dutch for example. In the first movie, he didn't even kill him with his bare fists. Like, he tried to, he got his ass kicked. He had to use his brain and outsmart him. And even if you want to go technical, he didn't even kill the Predator. The Predator self-destructed because he was a sore loser. So you can kind of argue and say Dutch didn't even defeat the Predator. The Predator just like detonated itself. I think the only person in movies that has successfully killed the Predator is Danny Glover in the second movie. I think that's right, actually. I think he's the only guy that like out and out fought it to death. But again, I'm not going to complain yet. I haven't seen anything that is complain worthy yet. I like to wait for the movie's release to then complain. But that's pretty much it. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure you like and sub, and I'll see you in the next video.